Ladies and gentlemen, we are live and in living color today. We have a very special live version of the pod lined up for you. So sit back, grab a insert state tournament special food here, wash it down with a insert state tournament special drink here. It's time to talk Townball.
And welcome to Talkin Townball. We are live for the first time ever. It is Sunday, August 10th. It is bracket reveal evening. We're about an hour away from the state board revealing the bracket. We are at the secret location somewhere in Minnesota. And my name is Ryan Hayes. I am from Delano. I will let my friends on the other side of the table introduce themselves.
Jordan Flick, Dassel Cocato.
And I'm John Anderson from Litchfield. And like Hayes said, it's an exciting day. We're in the middle of it all. It's there's commotion already. We're seeing a few state board members already kind of, shuffle in here.
There's a pretty legit food feed over there, and I see Kenny Vogt from El Rosa first in line as usual.
No surprise.
Yeah, he's over there. We had to make sure he gets his sandwich over there. Yeah, a little extra mayo.
There's a good spread. There's a good spread.
Yeah,
they do it up right.
We're gonna have fun tonight.
100%.
But I have to start the show with an apology.
Oh no.
Yesterday I sent out a tweet in the morning, and when I got to Watertown for our game against Watertown, talking to some individuals from Young America, Norwood, and Plato, they're like, "Hazer, what was up with that tweet?" And I'm like, okay, so first of all, John and Jordan across the table.
Yep.
Dassel Cocato played Litchfield yesterday. Winner's going to go to state tournament. Loser not going to go to state tournament. So I kind of made it seem like I have to pick between mom and dad splitting up. Mm-hmm. I don't want to be like, I apologize if I offended somebody. I'm going to just straight up apologize.
Yeah.
Because I know some people are like, oh, what's going on with Hayes? He's got a big game today. And then they said, well, I got to about the third line and the fourth line. And they're like, okay, this is starting to make a little bit of sense. And then by the end of it, they laughed it off. And they kind of understood. And we have dozens of listeners, and I don't expect anybody to listen. And it was just kind of funny that I was like, you guys even follow me on Twitter? I tweet about the Vikings losing and the Wolves losing like 90% of the time.
It's good content.
Yeah. So I do have to apologize for that. I'm sorry.
Going full notes app on it, and usually when you see that on Twitter, it's usually something pretty significant. And in our world, it kind of was.
Yeah,
it was. It is.
The day before we knew we were going to have to record this, my two good friends are one of them's going to have to be home the next couple weekends. But since we're in the apology mode, do you two have anything to say to my Delano Athletics?
Okay.
Or not picking us to go to the state tournament?
So definitely something needs to be said. Delano, of course.
You don't have to apologize. We're good.
Well, I don't think we are.
I'm not taking anything
Delano
back.
going from the North Star League to the CRVL. What a year for the Athletics getting through that district with, it was a minefield. Every matchup I saw down there out of the CRVL, I mean, you have Plato, who's a heck of a squad. You got YA, you got Watertown, and there are some really, really good teams. And to come out of that is pretty awesome. Followed that just as much as I was trying to follow our 6B and 6C, and it's just really good baseball. And, it's going to be in your backyard. CRVL, most of the, 3/4 of the 4 sites are CRVL teams.
We got one North Star League team. We have 2 Crow Valley League sites, and then Gaylord's River Valley League.
Right, River Valley. So there's a lot of hype.
Three of the 4 are in it.
Yeah, that's huge. So being that's in the backyard. I mean, these are some loaded teams, and you're going to see some big crowds for these teams that are going to get followed here. So we're excited to see tonight where they ultimately line up. That's why we're here.
Yeah,
we want to see this bracket.
We can spin a little bit of it in a positive way because congratulations to John and the Litchfield Blues. You're still alive as my favorite, and you made the state tournament yesterday. And fortunately enough, Jordan, who took over the DC Saints a couple years ago, had a really great year this year, 1 game short, had to run into Litchfield. But Jordan got drafted because he is the athlete in the room.
Yeah, on the mound, he
athlete,
is him.
That is loosely
he throws
using that
He
term.
throws high 80s.
Best
low 90s.
athlete on the field.
God.
So
Best athlete on the field, on the mound out there. Of all the DC Saints, if you're going to pick an athlete out of the bunch, it's Jordan Flick.
It is not.
That is just strictly a dig at all my other Saints brothers. By the way, I drafted 3 Saints, so let's just put that out there.
we had the Saints had we had 5 total guys drafted, which I'm excited about. Would have been a little more excited had all of us gone.
Of course.
Hate you, John. I just really hate you, man.
I know. I'm sorry.
No, I think you had some of the same questions asked to you. Are you even going to talk to John after this?
Yeah, there's no animosity there. I thought about it the night before and said, win or lose, I think you have to be, well, especially if you're on the winning end, you're gracious in victory, but also if you're losing, I mean, you have to feel good about, seeing not to say that we have I don't know what you'd want to call it, teams are close. We're close proximity, but our rivalry does not take like any negative turns. I mean, we can get chirpy, but it's all in fun, and it's two teams that respect each other out there. And unfortunately that we couldn't end up in the winning side of the bracket, but here we are.
Yeah, I know that friend of the pod, Lloyd Christmas, he...
Burner accounts here coming out.
Burner? What the hell's a burner? He replied to Hayes' Twitter apology with... So to keep it short here, Luxembourg won the Region 6C title, so they had the first draft pick, and Lloyd Christmas replied to Hayes' apology with, clearly Luxembourg had empathy for you and passed on Jordan in an attempt to reunite mom and dad via the draft. Howard Lake did not share the Brewers' thoughts. The orphans are homeless and wanted you to be as well.
Yep. That's really good. Fabulous.
That's a great a great response.
If you haven't picked up on it, Jordan got drafted by the Howard Lake Orphans, so he does have a home for the state tournament.
Yeah.
Ironic.
Very excited about that. Gracious for the opportunity. We've got Saints guys on all 3 of the teams coming out of Region 6C, so
I
think
fun.
That's fun, and I can't wait to cheer all those teams on.
That's kind of the I guess you could say silver lining in a lot of these regions and districts, and of course in A-ball with no draft, they don't get to share in the fun as much, but even if you're not making it, you usually get a guy or 2 out there, and you can support that. You can kind of hitch your wagon up to a team that you hope can go far, and you get these guys that are drafted have these cool experiences. And I mean, for so many years we had a couple guys drafted out of Litchfield, and I took a lot of joy in going to these first round, second round, third weekend games, watching our guys. And I will say, of course, you want to make the dance, you want to make the big show, but to go and support a team that believes in one of your guys too, that's fun. So yeah, we're all real excited about our bracket reveal tonight, as of course more state board members are shuffling into the conference room. I don't know if anyone's seen Conclave on Netflix. I think it's on Netflix, but it basically follows, how does a pope get elected? This is the exact same setup, basically. It feels as though you've got these guys in robes coming in. It's almost a little bit scary, but
the walls are thin here, and it feels like it's 1492 straight across from us, the hall, and it's the Sistine Chapel over there, and We're waiting for the smoke to
billow
out. Yeah.
We're keeping an eye on it, but no, they've got till 7 p.m. to get rolling, and no, we're like I said, I think I just saw Jason Kirshner walk in with a large basket of cheese curds too. So he's covered for tonight, and they don't get too far away. Those Cologne guys, they don't get too far away from their cheese curds. So
well, and typically, it is getting kind of late here, and around this time, he'd usually be warming up a cup of chamomile tea, getting ready to get tucked in for the night. But he's swapped it out for the cheese curds and a Mountain Dew because, folks, fun's about to start.
Fun is about to start. I do want to mention this. As we get through this little first section of our pod here, we are the Talkin Townball Podcast. You normally would find us on YouTube and Spotify, but tonight we've landed on the MBA YouTube, and we might have some new listeners. We are currently unsponsored. I want to mention this. We don't have any large sponsorships. Luckily, though, the MBA has actually offered 9% of the state tournament gate. So we appreciate them. Thank you for the claps. 9% of the tournament gate. Unfortunately, in our eyes, that falls very short of what we were hoping for.
Yeah.
We are actually looking for that MBA money. So we're looking for 30% of the profit.
Pay us what we're worth.
Pay us what they owe us, and that's kind of where we're at right now. So kind of a fun day. Once again, we're excited. As we get further into this hour of fun here, we did record some interviews. We've got a couple guys that are going to be well entrenched in the state tournament, not only from a hosting standpoint, but a managing standpoint and local media. So we're covering the whole gamut here. This is we're going to have interviews with Hutchinson manager Mike Cutter, and we're going to have a interview as well with Jeremy Stender, who is out of Glencoe. Remind me of the radio station again. That
he does KARP and KDUZ.
KDUZ. Yeah. So if you're in that, once again, entrenched in that CRVL baseball, you've definitely heard the soft tones of Jeremy Stender. You're going to enjoy that interview. So as we go, and we continue this live coverage outside of the decision room, we are, I don't know, we're just excited to be here. Anything else you guys want to cover before we jump into that taped interview with I believe Mike Cutter, who we'll lead off with?
Sounds good to me.
All right, let's cut to it. Let's get to it. Here's our first interview. Hutchinson manager and state tournament host Mike Cutter. And we are now here with our first guest. It's the Sunday of the bracket reveal, and we've got Mike Cutter of the Hutchinson Huskies, the manager and the state tournament host of the 2025 Minnesota Baseball Association state tournament. Mike, how are we doing?
I'm good. I'm a little tired. It's been a long couple of weekends up in Watkins, but it's kind of a good tired, I guess you could say, just for the fact that we got out of there with the 1 seed and everything was wrapped up last night. Don't have to worry about anything today, and just kind of good to be at home a little bit and away from baseball for at least 24 hours and get back at it tomorrow.
Yeah, you I mean, we hadn't mentioned this too, but your new title was district commissioner.
District, yes.
And so you having that new responsibility on top of managing and on top of being a tournament host, I mean, you've got to be a busy man. You're wearing a lot of hats, and I'm sure time is kind of it's important right now how you're utilizing your hours.
Yes, I would 100% agree. And, I think things will kind of ramp up on Monday and Tuesday this week with doing some final preparations at the park and getting things set up. And then my side of things in terms of being kind of the team host coordinator and getting that set up. So start earmarking people for teams, and once the bracket comes out tonight.
Awesome. Yeah, you've got that that first weekend off, you said you locked on the 1 seed. So now your plate maybe won't look as full on that first weekend, but that second weekend you're going to be coming in. The state board has made it clear they're going to keep their teams. If you're a host, you're going to have home games throughout the tournament.
Right.
Is that something that you have you've seen before or dealt with before?
Yeah, in 2016 it was set up that way for us as well, and I think they tried as much as they could, and I think Ryan, you can kind of speak to that too from 2 years ago where you got to play all your games at home. So I think that is something. That's a step in the right direction, that they've been doing that for a while now, and then you can keep your workers there. You don't have to shuffle people around to a different site. But yeah, I'm excited about the possibility of playing 4 games or whatever it's going to be for us in our home park. And, if we get that opportunity and we're going to make the best of it.
100%.
Yeah, and I think the other thing that they've done a nice job of is doing the Friday night game too.
Correct.
Huge.
When you got to get the field ready after a game and then play and then get the field ready and then you got people scrambling, it gets to be tricky where it's just get there Friday, play your 1 game, hopefully
Correct.
you win, celebrate, enjoy it, and then come back and grind it out Saturday and Sunday, just working all day. But the working and playing on the same day gets to be a little stressful and tricky.
Doing a Friday feels like a normal. You've done it all summer where you get the field ready, then you play your game, and then when it's done, you put it to bed and go home. Tough on a Saturday or Sunday, especially if you're if you're the last game of the day or something. It's like, all right, we got to get the field ready for 3 games and then go play.
You could argue that it could take away from your preparation level as a team. You've got so many guys on that roster that are probably contributing as volunteers. You don't want that to be a reason to maybe derail their focus in any way. But we've seen it. I mean, like you said, Delano in 2023, monster crowds going to every home game. They're just filling the park. They're they like to update every weekend, where the admission totals are. And I remember that year, and it would be like, Litchfield with 600 and blah, blah, blah people. And then Delano, 2,495. And it'd be like, okay, well, it's getting busy over
Tourism.
there. Yeah, tourism. Right?
Tourism.
And Jordan last year, you as a host, they end up going all the way to the championship game. And I mean, what a environment that was for that group too. So just a really cool opportunity. I think that's you might get some guy out there that argues state host site, they're getting every advantage out there, but I think it's part of you earn that right. You've got the field to where it is now to earn the ability to host some games and bring in the crowds.
It is and it isn't, because it can be just as big of a distraction.
Right. People don't understand that.
No, that's the part where I just kind of totally going on a different course here. Just our high school team this year. For many years, Delano had been the host for the section high school playoffs, and we had hired Toby Hansen as our head coach, and we had the playoffs out in Waconia, and he was grumbling about it not being in Delano, and I'm like, dude, you're first-year head coach. Yeah, it's going to be a lot easier to just hop on the bus and let Waconia roll out the red carpet 100%. For us, and we just play. Yeah, because otherwise you're going to have 500 questions. So
yep.
And I'm going to reverse course again, because I want to know what's the setup going to look like in Hutch. You don't have to go on all the details, Cutter. And we want to know the food selection. You got to get the food selection out to the people.
Yeah, I hear you. That's big and important. Setup wise, we're going to have we brought in. Former player has like a grain bin bar, we call it. That's going to kind of be behind. That's going to kind of be behind the grandstand, more towards the first base dugout. So we have the grain bin bar. We're pretty excited about that. That got hauled in last week. We'll have our, you're going to have your classics, your burgers and brats and things like that. We're going to have some, I believe some other pork products. I believe some pork chops are going to be coming in at some point. So,
here we go.
So I think we're excited about that because we have Benny's Meat Market in town, and he does a great job, and he's connected with the Broughton team as well a little bit. So he's going to kind of be between those two sites, but. We have some craft beers as well. I can't think of what they are off the top of my head right now.
Sure, that's
fine. We'll have some selections from that as well. And trying to think what else. We'll have bleachers. We'll have some temporary bleachers on each side of the dugout on the first base and third base sides, and kind of those green spaces that are green now. Thankfully after a little mishap last summer, but
it does look great now.
There's always like trials and tribulations for a state host site, and I don't think people understand it. That year leading up to the hosting, there's a lot of things that
even days
before.
Yeah.
I think about in 2023, our lead up. I mean, I was sweating probably a handful of things that it's like we've got to figure this out, or hope that it goes right, and it just kind of sometimes falls into place. Of course, things don't always go perfect, and you just kind of have to go with it. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, we're all human, and to put something on like this, even with years of prep, you can, there are things that just don't go right, and that's right. Okay.
Yeah. And I mean, this is the best I've seen the field look in my 20 years of living in town. And we have a fantastic groundskeeper who does a great job and really cares about how it looks and how it plays. And I think, surface wise and everything that has gone into the grandstand and making that look nice, and some of the areas, the new concrete areas behind there, the new gate that was put in. There's some really nice aesthetics that are complementary to everything that's going into the ballpark. So again, we're really excited. I think it's important too, going back to when we were talking about having to buy. We have that first weekend to make things work. Mm-hmm. What do we need to improve? What's working really well? Lining up the volunteers, and then we have all those games that first weekend to not worry about playing and not worry about what we're doing as a team, but organizationally that we are on top of what we need to do, and then we'll make adjustments for the second weekend.
Right. Yeah, that's nice. I mean, obviously, credit to your guys for locking down the one seed and giving their manager a little bit of leeway with getting into.
Gives
the
me a little more time. Yeah,
exactly.
Time is very important, I think, and you guys, since you posted a couple of years ago, how important the time management between the baseball and everything else you're doing with your life. And it's good. It kind of gives, like today, I don't have to be at a baseball park, and I get to watch hockey instead. So that's it's nice to have a break, and then tonight watch the bracket show, and we'll go from there on Monday.
And the pre-show, of course, right?
Sorry, how ridiculous for me to get the pre-show. I'm sorry.
6 p.m. pre-show, like we said, we're
6
recording.
Pre-show, yes.
Yeah, we're recording this bright and early this the same day, Sunday. But we're excited that we'll feature this interview on a 6 p.m. pre-show. I mean, as far as what else we want to cover, we've gone over it quite a bit. Hutchinson. Now, later, I think tonight during our live show, we're going to kind of cover each state site and what they offer in terms of amenities in the area. Obviously, you're going to have some awesome stuff at the park. Hutchinson is. I mean, you've got everything out there. You've got everything from,
some would say there's much in Hutch.
There's much in Hutch.
Some would say that. Yeah, there's a slogan in there, I think.
I've never heard that. So this is new to me.
I've only known it as the home of Les Cuba.
Les Cuba, legend. Of course, Lindsay Whalen as well. So you drive into town, you see the Lindsay Whalen painting on the wall. What are some? I mean, let's say, what's a favorite watering hole for you? If you got a post game spot, do you want to shout out a spot or two?
Well, if you're looking for a pitcher of beer and some pizza, you got to go to Main Street Sports Bar.
Absolutely. And guess what? It's on Main Street.
That's right.
It's on Main Street.
And that's only a few blocks from the field.
Yeah, that's just a right-hand turn off of Fifth Avenue there on the Main Street, and you go a few blocks and you'll be there. yeah, I think that's if you want to sit down and just get yourself a pizza and hang out with the guys afterwards, that's the place to go. And it's been around for a long time. You got your B-dubs there over if you want to go get some wings.
Of course.
Do that. If you want to get, and honestly, if you want to get fancy, you want some really good food, you got to go try Tokyo Grill on the west side of town.
Oh, I'll second that. I will second that.
Get you some Tokyo Grill. It's
so good.
It's really good. And their menu's huge. There's so many different sushi options and everything else you can imagine.
That's a busy spot on a normal night. Now put 10,000 people in Hutchinson on top of that. I bet we'll see some loaded parking lots. That's the thing with these communities. I mean, when you're trying out to be a site, and you've got the town that's kind of like saying, okay, you want us to support this. What's going to come of it? You say, prepare for those 3 weekends, because you are going to see an influx of people that are not only coming through town, but they're hanging around and they're spending money, and that the local economy is going to be booming. Even Hutchinson, a larger town/city, they are going to absolutely benefit from all the new traffic that's coming through town.
Yeah, and again, that was kind of the sell. As you know, you have to kind of sell your tournament sites when this happens, and that was part of it when we put in the bid, however many years ago it was, and credit Kyle Messner and actually Mike Max from who's a Gaylord native. He credit him too, because he was part of that whole process.
He was actually in your bid. Your bid meeting when you did the
correct. He was.
Yeah, so like bringing in the big guns, of course, Hutchinson holding nothing back.
Nothing.
Yeah, we're excited. And it's obviously because it is kind of all of in our backyards. Delano's got to come way out west if they have to come to a game out here, and I'm
catch
sure
an early flight.
That'll be. It's a long train ride from Delano.
Fingers crossed for Gaylord. Fingers crossed for
Gaylord. I would love to see our Blues make a trip to Hutchinson. So I'm going to push that for the state board. I'm going to make sure as they enter the boardroom tonight, I'm going to be poking them a little bit and saying, yeah, of course we want to stay local.
And again, when we had the Monday night rain out where we came up a couple weeks ago, that was again, you're helping each other out, and I think that was great when we were able to get that Maple Plain game in Litchfield a few weeks ago. So
yeah, of course we're always looking out for our North Star League brothers, and we'll be cheering for you. It's kind of nice this year, you being in B, and of course, Ryan also in B, but being in C, then I can cheer you guys on.
There you go,
and not think twice about it. So we're excited to see how everything goes. Of course, from a hosting standpoint, we want the best from you guys, and from a team aspect, make sure let's get you to that final weekend. All right.
Right. That's the goal. That's the plan, and you can make the greatest plans, and it doesn't always go that way. But I think just talking to the guys, and I think we're excited, and I think we feel good about where we're at, and we played some good baseball here at the end of the season. So just a little bit of prep work, and we'll be ready to go.
Awesome, Mike. Well, we appreciate you coming on here and giving us a little bit here to just get us excited for the next 3 weekends. It's going to be a good time.
Thank you.
I hope you guys have all the. I hope everything goes well for you. So.
Thank you. We appreciate it, and keep up the great work on the show here, boys.
Absolutely. All right, awesome, Mike. We will talk to you again soon.
All right, thank you.
All right, bye-bye.
All right, and we are here with Jeremy Stender with KGLB Radio, AM 1310. Jeremy, you had a couple big weekends. Are you ready to go for 3 more? You got the day off today, or what are you up to?
Yeah, I'm off today.
Okay.
I don't know if my wife's ready for 3 more.
Oh boy!
But yes, this is always This is a tough 5-weekend stretch, but I love it. It's great. And, with all the changes this year, there were moments during the summer where you're like, I'm not so sure about this, but now you roll into playoffs and it's like it's back to normal, and it's fun, and you're seeing the excitement ramp up as we get ready for what's coming up here shortly.
Yeah, and I do want to ask, because we're at 7 Crow River Valley League teams. How are you going to break that up then for the state tournament, and how do you pick who you're going to cover?
Right.
We'll figure it out.
Okay.
I mean, luckily I've got a pretty good team of guys. I do have 3 radio stations at my disposal to kind of shift around. I think the first weekend, and again, we've got the bracket reveal coming up, but I have a hunch that Hutchinson, Brownton, and Glencoe are all going to be hosting games on Friday evening.
Right.
This coming Friday evening. So, well, guess what? I've got 3 stations. I've got KDUZ, Carp, and then KGLB that they'll kind of fit in there. And then the rest of the weekend is probably a little bit more manageable.
Yeah. But Hutch is the 1 seed, so they'll get a bye. So you might not have to,
So don't even have to worry about that.
Probably don't have to worry about them this weekend.
That was a question I think we're going to discuss, but Glencoe coming in as a 4th site, obviously it's a little bit different. If they make the tournament, and of course they did, are they going to then, as a 4th site, get that Glencoe game?
That was my understanding.
Okay.
That they were told this, even back in April or May when they were kind of brought on as that 4th site, that if that were to happen, and I think that that's a smart thing.
Of course.
To do.
Absolutely, for sure.
I think that's one thing that the state board's done a really, really good job of adapting to, because I remember in 2021, on a Friday night, Waconia guys, Waconia's playing in Chaska. So, you've got your whole volunteer base, you've got your whole fan base already doing everything at your park.
Yeah.
You can't even go watch your team play. So I think this has been kind of a great adjustment that they've made. And it just seems like it's a lot better for your organizations, for your volunteers, for everyone. So
and definitely. Of course, your numbers are going to skyrocket. You're going to see a hometown crowd that'll boost attendance, and the more home games you have for state tournament sites and hosts, the better your return numbers are. It's just you don't have to be a scientist to know that. So, yeah, excited for that first night. You said Hutchinson has a bye as a 1 seed. Hayes, and so you've got Glencoe playing at home on that Friday night potentially, and what other CRV teams are we looking at that would maybe have that? You said
Brownton's in it, so
of course,
I'm guessing they'll get a Friday night game. But let's jump into Region 7 seed, Jeremy. I know LeSueur is out of the River Valley League, one of the teams, but then we got Brownton, Glencoe, and Cologne. And I know you spent some time over in New Germany covering games at that region. What do you know? What did you see or find out about LeSueur? Because we don't know a lot about them.
We don't, and it was interesting because I was actually looking over the updated Class C rankings, and I saw John and what he said. We'll watch their matchup with Cologne and with Glencoe. Well, the first time they played Glencoe was it yesterday and Saturday. They beat them 14-0, and they shut out Cologne last week. I think that, through everything, I think LeSueur has probably looked like the best team. Now, they were a state tournament team last year, so they're coming off of, a very good season, and they've got the Feeney kid who someone has to remind me, D2 pitcher. He's really, really good. I watched him throw against Cologne, so I like that. Their lineup with the Pangillies and, some of the other young kids. I mean, they've got a 16-year-old kid that travels all over the place playing baseball. He looks like a grown man.
Oh, wow.
And I saw him have 2 or 3 hits last weekend in a game that I saw there. So they're I think they're an exciting team. I definitely think that if you were to pencil like we always do, right? 6 to 8 favorites. I think that LeSueur is probably in that talk. I think that Glencoe is probably in that talk too, because, they've grown up a little bit. I think the re-addition of Teddy Peterson, anytime you can add a Division II player, right, coming back and playing at his hometown is a great thing. And then I think the one little outlier, they haven't really been talked about, but we all kind of know about them. And I really like the Brownton Bruins because, number one, Ryan Graham's, right? 39 years old. He's still going at a high level. But I don't think people know enough about Scott Finberg. This is his 4th year with the Bruins. And, I remember the podcast you guys did earlier in the summer where, Jack Walatich coming back, playing for Young America, right? Yep. You marry a local girl and you buy a house in town. What baseball team doesn't love that?
Right.
Well, Scott Finberg married a Brownton girl. right? And moved a few blocks from the park a few years ago, and he's a Division II player, and he's just completely changed their lineup. He's a shortstop. He kind of anchors their defense up the middle. I think he's had 4 home runs in the Region 7 tournament over in New Germany. So I think that they're a team that with Ryan on the mound and with Scott going the way he's going right now, and then some of their younger guys that have kind of grown up these last few years, I think the Brown Bruins are another team that can make a run. For the Cologne Highlanders, it's going to come down. Can their bats be consistent enough? They haven't scored it real well at the region tournament. They can pitch it a little bit. Okay. Maybe not shut down pitchers, but the biggest thing for them is going to be, can they get their bats to consistently show up and be a part of the party? I
saw on Twitter their manager is he announced that it is his last year managing?
Yes, Craig Texas kind of said that's kind of been his plan all along. I think that plan, like with a lot of Townball people, has gotten pushed back maybe a couple of years.
The one more year approach.
That mysteriously seems to happen to a lot of guys. But, Craig went into the Hall of Fame about 5 or 6 years ago. Him and his wife operate a food truck in the offseason. Craig's still going to be around. He's still going to do a lot for the Highlanders. That's not the thing. It's just going to be a new bench guy. But so I think that was really exciting for them. I live in Cologne, so I did spend a little bit of time at the local watering hole with those guys on Friday night after calling a 4-hour game.
Awesome.
I did call that game, and had a couple cold beverages with them, and they're just really excited. Cologne baseball, when I moved here with my wife 17 or 18 years ago, was almost non-existent, and now they have a home game. I don't know how many of you guys have had a chance to get over to Fritz Field, but it's kind of on a hill, and every night is like Phil the Hill for them. It's almost
fabulous.
It's cool.
Yes, it's become a really, really cool thing here in Cologne, and baseball wasn't a cool thing 15 years ago. So it's fun, and now this is only they went to the state tournament in 1972 and then got back in 2019. So this is the third time they've been there. So they were pretty excited Friday night.
100%. That's very cool. We talk about, the teams that have made it. Of course, you've covered that out of the CRVL. How about teams that didn't make it that might have a guy or, a horse that maybe will get drafted here as the tournament, the region and district wrap up?
Well, this year our Region 7 was combined with the RBL. And, so like teams like Belle Plaine, Le Sueur coming up, St. Peter, Gaylord. So I'm not as familiar, but St. Peter has a guy. And he solidifies any staff. I think he pitches. Can't remember if it's Gus Davis or where he's at, but he's really, really good. And then I think as you go around the Crow, there's a group of guys, whether it's that one guy that's solid that can give you 5 or 6 innings. It's maybe not right what you're talking about on the B level, where you might have the potential to get one of those D2 guys or someone of that nature. I don't know that there are those kind of arms. So what I would say is on the Region 7 side, aside from that guy out of St. Peter, I don't know how big of a difference maker there is per se.
Right.
But I think a guy that can give you innings and a guy that might need to give you innings when you get into that 3-game Labor Day weekend, which is, again, one less than what you've had to do, the past how many years. So I think that there's arms that can help you, to say one or two specifics. I don't know. I know there's also a couple guys. There's always a couple guys, as you guys know from being around it, that, summer's kind of come to an end, and my wife or my girlfriend thinks, a weekend at the lake is a little more important than me going to pitch for a different team.
It's much prettier to go up north in September.
The leaves turning. We love that. We love that.
So, well, Jeremy, I think want to move over to now District 7B here for a minute or two, and we got Young America, Plato, and then the new guys, my Delano squad. And what do you like, especially like with the YA and Plato? Because elephant in the room, they're really, really good, and they're Labor Day weekend teams for sure. 100%. So
I think all four in that District 7B, the Final Four, were Labor Day weekend teams. I mean, Brian, you just experienced the state tournament, like a Labor Day weekend state tournament, and we unfortunately knew that one of those four teams were going to go home going into the weekend. It was just, who was it going to be? I mean, let's be honest, Delano was one hit away from potentially doing that to Young America on Thursday night. How does Young America respond if they lose that game? Plato's down 5-0 with Reese Schwartz on the mound through 4 innings against Watertown. They come back and win 8-5. Reese doesn't give up a hit the last 7 innings. All of a sudden, Ryan, you guys have a balk yesterday to tie the game 2-2 in the 6th inning, and you're thinking, what the heck's going on?
Sensitive subject. Yeah. Right there.
Yes. But this is how close. This is how close everything was, and there's such a microcosm between potentially going 2-0 versus going 0-2, and I think that but yes, to your point, these are really, really good teams. I mean, Reese Schwartz, he can pitch you to the Final Four pretty easy.
Yeah.
Ryan, you've seen up close Young America's lineup, and not even necessarily at its best. Braden Coles, who was the MVP of the Region 7 tournament, is just finishing up with the Mankato Moondogs. So he's not even in that lineup right now, and he'll be back.
Wow.
So it's just, those are two really good teams. This is a Plato team that the last few years, I don't want to say the negative things said about them, but probably is to an extent, was could they hit it enough? Well, these are all 21, 22, and 23-year-old guys who now have kind of entered that next phase of their town ball career, and they can hit it a little bit. I've been impressed, with Delano. We knew what we were getting, with them coming into the league. Very dangerous lineup. Mason Henry yesterday in that state qualifier, first pitch of the game, hits it 380 feet over the right field fence to give them a 1-0 lead. The speed at the top of the lineup is something that I've been really impressed with. And obviously it helps having a guy like Toby Hansen in your lineup when you have that ability, especially if there's 1 or 2 runners on base, or even just when he comes up, with no one on base, and that ability to completely change the dynamic of the game, like he did yesterday when he hit a solo home run in the top of the 8th inning. And then what does he do in the 9th? He comes up with runners on 2nd and 3rd, and he lines one into left center and scores 2. So I think, and then I feel bad for Watertown, because they're not going to the state tournament. Those guys were hurt and beat up over it yesterday, but it's no consolation when you tell him, guys, don't worry about it. I mean, look at the monsters in this region. Or district. That doesn't help you, feel anything less. But we knew going into Thursday that one really, really good team, a state tournament or state championship caliber team, was going to go home, and unfortunately it had to be the Red Devils.
Yeah, for sure. So, well, Jeremy, we're going to let you get going. I know you got to get out to that Carver County Fair, but hopefully you can put your feet up later in the day and this week, because 3 big weekends. And just give us, if you want to give us a rundown of where we can find you, and then I think there's an app you can pull up too on your phone, if you want to give us that. And
Yep, there is. We will, we'll cover on KGLB will be our the main station, but we know that there's going to be double ups. That's AM 1310, and then also our sister stations, KARP FM 106.9, and then KDUZ AM 1260. And as Ryan mentioned, download the Made in Minnesota app. Just type in Made in Minnesota in your app store, and you're able to kind of toggle back and forth. The KGLB will be in Glencoe. The other 2 stations I mentioned in Hutchinson, and what's unique about it is, KCHK out of New Prague covers a lot of games. KNUJ out of New Ulm. They're all part of our sister stations. So you can also listen to those stations within that Made in Minnesota app. So really you've got an opportunity to toggle back and forth between, 3 or 4, even sometimes 5 town ball games just within that Made in Minnesota app.
Yeah, it's super convenient. I want to mention this quick too. Yesterday, as we had wrapped up Litchfield versus DC, we were kind of hanging out. A lot of beers were being drank, and we said, we want to know what that Delano game's up to. I said, I know that Made in Minnesota app is out there. I'm going to throw that up. Super easy to get to, and by the time I had thrown on the stream, Toby Hansen had cleared the bases with a.
I think I had asked John. I'm like, well, we gotta, there's got to be an app or something. And he's like, yeah, I got it right here. And then he pulls it up and shows me. I'm like, oh yeah, it is all right there. This is nice, 100%, real slick,
well laid out.
Well,
so yeah,
and we appreciate all that you do, Jeremy, and your crew covering Townball, because it's very near and dear to our heart, as I know it is to yours. So, much appreciated, and enjoy the day, and good luck the next 3 weekends.
All right. Thank you, boys. Keep up the good work. Really enjoy listening to you guys.
Awesome. Appreciate it. And we're back live. It's just it's refreshing to kind of have these recorded interviews and then just be able to kick back to the studio here, the secret location.
I hope we're still live and we haven't been cut off yet.
I think, as far as I'm concerned, I think we still have Wi-Fi, so everything's still coming through. And the board is, we're hearing some rumblings. I think we're kind of getting to that final stage where it's like the jury is going to be out on this bracket real soon.
You would think, speaking of Wi-Fi, like you said, you would think in an underground bunker we wouldn't have this good of reception or signal on our Wi-Fi, but somehow
the amount of security that comes into play here is mind-boggling. We were actually kidnapped from each of our towns, and there was a bag thrown over our head, and we were driven out here. A lot of left turns. I didn't know exactly where
it was. A long drive. And then we even got followed up with the pat down at the door.
At the door. Well, they want to make sure that we're not sneaking in any paraphernalia. There's just a lot of question marks there, but it is fun to be live. I just actually like you said earlier, the walls are a little thin. I heard Mark Forsman actually making a late push to be to have Dassel be a fifth site. Which is exciting. Probably not going to happen. I think we've got some people that are they've got their heads on straight. The board will make sure that doesn't happen. Whitey being a little aggressive in there, but that's typical Mark Forsman.
It's the name of the game. Sometimes you gotta make a push for your home park, and I don't think it's going to work out this time.
No, that's not
hosting twice in 4 years. What do you guys think you are, Waconia or Delano?
Yeah, what the heck? Okay. So it's hashtag state board babies.
Things are getting hot in the room next to us, and so you can hear they're banging around on the wall.
I think that's Brennan. He's not very happy with the Hinckley draw. It looks.
To me. Keep an eye on that.
And I can peeking through these blinds. They made us shut the blinds. They don't want us to see what's going on in this big bracketology 101 over there, but I can kind of see a matchup they're putting together, and I don't know if I love or hate it, but it's going to be exciting. Should I spoil it?
No.
Oh, okay.
Let's keep it. Let them have all the fun. They're going to have their professional, show here at 7 p.m. We're just the whatever.
We're clowns.
Dog and pony dance.
Yeah.
We've had some reviews come in for Talkin Townball.
We haven't even talked about our reviews.
Okay, that's one I heard.
That was a good one.
Okay.
That was one of our favorite ones.
I had ran into a gentleman and said, "Hey, are you a Talkin Townball guy?" I was like, "Yeah." Do you listen to that smut? He's like, "Yeah, it's okay."
Hey, that's a glowing review. That is
in my world. That's almost a thumbs up.
Yeah, it's close. It's close to.
We've also heard we are listenable.
Oh yeah, that's maybe my favorite review. Yeah, you're listenable. Almost as if I guess.
If it's on in the background, I'm not afraid to just give it a listen. That's really nice, and we appreciate all our feedback. We started this pod out of kind of just love of Townball, and it has grown. I would say if we didn't have a following at all, we would still be enjoying it every step of the way. It would be a passion project, and we always come here and enjoy ourselves and have a great time, and it definitely doesn't feel like a chore at all. We're enjoying every bit of it, and to be elevated now to be able to be the pre-show show for the state board, it's an exciting opportunity, and we're gonna keep doing it until we run out of gas. You know, we had we had a lot of content this year. We had a lot of things to talk about. The reclassification. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
You could talk 100 hours on that thing.
We did.
And we
Felt-
did.
it
And we
felt like
talked.
it.
Go
Yeah.
back. We talked 100 hours about it, and it gave us a lot of fun opportunities to kind of just get the sentiment of Minnesota ball. You know, people having a lot of opinions, and we're the same way. We have plenty of opinions here, and the state board doing that reclassification. You got player points, you got population points, you got success points. Jordan, you and I talked with Hayes as well. There's got to be an easier way.
Yeah, and we think we've nailed it.
Oh, 100%.
We think there's no way we can be wrong here. We have our own ideas about
Potential.
reclassification and maybe moving into 2026 rather than the player points, population, whatever it may be.
It's just muddy. you
Yeah,
know?
it muddies the waters. We have, I think, a much easier way to do this.
We want to take the burden off of the boards, and we
Yeah.
want to make sure, we want to clarify, we want to give the board a real easy, maybe into 2026, a couple different options. We've thought of multiple.
Yeah, so just a good example of you want to make it make sense, and here's one example of a way you could do this. I think that if your town has a strip mall in it, a smaller strip mall, you are a Class C team.
Great start.
If you have an outlet mall, which is maybe a little step up in size, you're Class B.
Easy.
And if you have the largest mall in the entire country in your backyard, it's a pretty clear you're Class A.
You're going to be Class A. Perfect
So-
start. Easy.
Yeah.
Pretty.
I mean, we don't have to talk about players. We don't have to talk about population. This is just size of mall.
That's black and white, is as clean as it gets there as far as a deciding point. I've thrown out the idea, if you have a Culver's in town,
Okay.
well, guess what? You're Class B.
Yeah.
That's high quality food at a reasonable price. I mean, that's fast food. If you're going to go out and get a good burger and
Yeah.
you've got a Culver's within city limits, welcome to Class B.
Yeah, it's I mean, like if you have a real small cafe in your town, you might be like Class C. Culver's is a pretty easy choice as B. And then
Yep.
if you're celebrating by going to Fogo after the game,
Fogo de Chao.
you're probably
You're
Class
going to
A.
be Class A.
Yeah.
These are all, obviously, you can pick. These are all going to be solid options. If you want to toss the player points, success points, these are all, I would say, in my mind, better options for the board. Is your batter's eye a corn silo? Mm-hmm. Welcome to Class C.
Okay.
I mean, that's a pretty easy one for us.
That's a good.
That felt like low hanging fruit almost.
Yeah.
Why aren't we utilizing this?
Well, that's man, I'm blanking on the team right now.
Greenwald.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
Cubs. They do have a corn silo. Well, several of them.
Watch
as a batter's eye.
Watch next year, Delano installing a corn silo in center field.
Yeah, you've got the outfield decks now. Put a silo out there.
We have a
drop right
we,
back
We
down.
have a gazebo.
That's
We could
Class
just-
B.
gazebo?
That's very Class B.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have a gazebo, so we could make it a corn
gazebo.
silo.
Class B.
How about this? Have you ever had a heifer get loose near your ball field?
Yeah, Delano has. Yeah.
Delano has? No
Or
way.
C.
Zero chance.
No.
If you
Years
had
ago.
I think about like, oh my gosh, Meyer Grove. All I can imagine is a cow kind of just taking a stroll by the ball field. You're Class C. Any other ones you might want to drop there? I mean, we do have.
I think you pull into the park and there's like a meter, or you have to pay for parking. You're probably an A team.
Probably an A team, and I'll even piggyback on top of that. Is there an art gala within walking distance of your concession stand?
Oh, that feels pretty Class A.
I mean, how about a flea market though? Where are you gonna
flea market?
Where are you gonna land a flea market?
I would say C, but some could make the argument
You
that
could argue.
there's flea markets in B towns. Come on.
And that's something we need to kind of iron out as we go through the details there.
Well, we're going to work hard with the state board moving into next season on implementing some of these ideas, and I think it'll go
it
well.
seems like no brainers here. If you're one to argue points, we want to give you every reason to just feel good about where you stand. And I think we've basically given you the blueprint, State Board. I know that they're just getting out of. I mean, as we see, the door is now kind of opening to the Shark Tank, as we've called it.
Yeah, what looks like maybe a small fist fight breaking out in there right now.
There's been some injuries.
You know, some people, I think some people might, you know, you always think like, the State Board, you know, they're all working together against us. Sometimes you hear that. There's no way. They're working together right now to try to make it the best tournament it can possibly be.
Yes.
So they're fist fighting each other in that room.
We're going to have to get, I don't know if they've hired a makeup artist, because if we've got Mark Forsman being featured in that selection bracket reveal show, he's going to have to cover up a black eye. There's definitely been some...
Either cover up his black eye or visit Doc's office tomorrow morning and get his eyes checked, because if he got punched pretty hard, I think that Doc could help him out.
It pays to know somebody.
Well, I mean, speaking of being on camera, you know, we are doing this live. This is live audio.
100%.
We chose to stay off the camera because, well, one, we didn't want to scare anyone away. I think that's key.
Faces for podcast for 100%.
Yeah, faces for a podcast, audio only. But I do, even though this is just audio and you can't see us right now, I do want to shout out some other friends of the pod, Haywood and Richard. They had tweeted at our teams yesterday, because we were playing each other, and Haywood had this idea where the losing manager should have to wear the apparel of the winning team during the stream that is currently, you know, being live right now. And although you can't see me, Haywood, I am wearing a Blues hat. I wanted to make sure I held up our end of the bargain there.
Yep, I can back that up. Jordan Flick currently sporting a Blues hat. But,
I had to do it. You know, it doesn't quite feel right, but you know, John and the Blues, they're friends, so I feel okay.
Yes, and Jordan's a good sport, so good to have that. Good to see that, and we're gonna go into this selection show, this bracket reveal with I don't know. We have high hopes to see a really fun. I think we're hoping for really fun matchups. I mean, that's the one thing you see. You get these northern teams, you get these southern teams that have no idea who the heck each other are, and we're going to be meeting them up in a state tournament. Hayes, do you have anything you want to drop in before I feel like we're going to get kicked out here soon, but we might have about a minute and a half before these guys get a little aggressive with us.
Are you guys done playing in the shallow end of the pool? Can we go into the deep end?
Okay, get us in the deep end.
Talk about some. Now we have a whole off season to talk, you know, serious about classifications and points, but we do have teams that are going to be playing next weekend.
We do have teams,
and maybe let's throw out some teams that we thought were going to be in that we don't see on the list. We haven't seen the bracket yet. I'm going to point out St. Patrick, the number 1 seed out of Section 1 in Class A, not going to make the state tournament this year. That one was pretty eye-popping to me. I'll jump down to C, our Clearwater River Cats. They broke a record. They won 78 games.
78 games. They played.
But they didn't win enough playoff games.
Yeah, bummer.
So those are some that kind of jump out for Class A. I want to give a shout out to the mighty Minneapolis River Rats. They've been in existence for just over 20 years. They are making their first state tournament. So
congrats.
Shout out to those silly rats out there.
Absolutely.
That's awesome.
Waconia winning Class C and then jumping into A, and they took care of business in their section. And they're going to go state tournament for Class A now. So I like them. Anything jumping out with you guys?
I mean, as far as C, I mean, you had Spring Hill, you know, you had New York Mills, the teams that I definitely believed in. I had them in my rankings through the state site throughout the year. I don't, you know, you're more attached to the B side of things. Obviously Watertown.
Watertown. But speaking of B, the Bluffton Braves.
Oh, yeah,
they were didn't get in there. That's a tough dress. Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing with Class B. getting 24 teams, and you're going to see a lot of them are sitting at home, but you're going to have the creme de la creme there in Hutch, Glencoe, Brownton. What do you guys hear music?
Well, wait a second. No, the state board is currently staring us now.
Yeah,
I don't know if
about to get beat up.
We're in
here.
like the studio space. There is a slight. Is that like a?
It feels like we're getting played off right now. Well, we'll wrap up as quick as we can here. There's going to be a lot of fun games at all 4 sites. Please go to the state tournament. Get a burger, get a brat, get a beer, watch the games.
Support these hosts. Support the host sites.
Gaylord, Hutch, Brownton, and Glencoe.
Oh man, the music is
It's
killing
getting
us
loud now.
We'll get out of here. We're being threatened. The state board is going to kick us out of the studio. Enjoy this little break between the pre-show and the main show. Go to the bathroom, grab a couple beers. It's going to be a good time. Everybody, have a great state tournament and have a great bracket reveal show. This is the Talkin Townball Podcast. We'll see you later.